You see, it's nice to have yourself introduced by somebody who's a good friend of yours. That way you know exactly you're not going to get hurt at all. You know? You're very fortunate here today because I'm no longer as fit and energetic as I used to be. Being of Irish descent, whenever I had the opportunity to speak, it would be at least an hour, you know. But being older, I've gone to my cardiologist, and they're holding me now to 4 or 5 minutes. The reason being that I'm liable to get so excited during my own speech that I'll have a heart attack. So I've had to slow down. Seriously, Mickey Knight and I've been friends for years. He served you with distinction. This area of Michigan in the Michigan legislature. We went to Ireland together and saw the conditions in Ireland together, and we traveled all over Ireland itself. But anyway, I love this area of the state. Muskegon is always kind to me election-wise, which is very appreciated. And of course, I've had great friends over here, and Tom O'Toole, may he rest in peace, and Jim Kopsa, Judge Mullally, and many others who I've known over the years. And I've always considered Muskegon a warm and compassionate place. From the time of Cromwell until the famine of the 1840s, the British kept the Irish confined within their own country. With the starvation and deaths of thousands of poor Irish during the 1840s potato famine, the British began to let the Irish emigrate and leave their country. And that started the first wave of hundreds of thousands of Irish who emigrated all over the world. But most heavily, they came to the United States. As poor and uneducated as they were, the Irish had an advantage coming to America, an unintended advantage given them by the British. They had become English-speaking and were therefore able, as soon as they got here, to take jobs that non-English speaking immigrants could not acquire. Clerks, foremen, policemen, and so on. My paternal grandfather and grandmother came in what was called the second wave in the 1880s. Conditions in Ireland had once again turned to great poverty and deprivation. My great-grandmother Maloney paid for her daughter and son, as well as her son's best friend, Patrick Kelly, to leave the county Mayo for Detroit, Michigan. My great-grandmother thought her son's friend would make a good husband for her daughter, and that's what happened. From 1885, the Patrick Kelly family produced 8 living children. There could have been 10, but one was stillborn, and the other, a little girl, died of pneumonia at the age of 2. My grandfather knew his educational limitations and worried and worked as a forge operator until he was killed in his early 40s in an industrial accident at the plant. My father would tell me how his father would preach to the 8 children that if they learned as much as they could and worked hard, they could have financial security and happiness in America. I believe all first-generation Irish advocated education and that their children should train to be in public service and help their fellow man because of the conditions and the exploitation they faced in Ireland. In later years, I checked with other second and third generation Irish, including the Kennedys, and they all said that their parents wanted them to seek an education and be public leaders. And it must be true because so many Irish have done just that. My grandmother on my mother's side was born in Chatham, Ontario, of Irish parents, and my maternal grandfather was born on a farm in what is now Pontiac, Michigan. My maternal grandfather was a bar owner, like the Kennedy grandfather. He had a large bar on Milwaukee and Woodward Avenue in Detroit. And when Prohibition came, he retired to Highland Park, where my mother was raised. My dad and his brothers and sisters, the firstborn in America, did quite well in what was that first generation. Being orphans, they were only able to get education through the 8th grade, except for the youngest sister, who at the time she was old enough, was sent to a nice boarding school by her successful older brothers. Of the 8 children, my father's oldest brother established and succeeded in a very successful sausage company. And the second brother became director of personnel for the Ford Motor Company, which I thought was a great accomplishment. My dedication for public service. He was elected to the Detroit School Board in his 20s. He served on the County Board of Supervisors, today called Commissioners, that ran Wayne County, where Detroit is located. At that time, believe it or not, Wayne County was the richest tax county in the United States, the richest county in the United States. He was chairman of the Board of County Institutions, which meant that he was responsible for the operation of Wayne County General Hospital, or Eloise Hospital, the largest public research and mental hospital in the Midwest. My dad was always active in party politics. He was a delegate to the first televised national convention. I watched my father, as chairman of the delegation, cash Michigan's votes for the nomination of Harry Truman to succeed himself as President of the United States in 1948. Well, with that kind of a background, it's easy to understand that my ambitions followed my grandfather and father to obtain an education, become a lawyer, and be of service to my fellow man. I am grateful to have been given the opportunity and have a long and fruitful career of a public servant serving as Attorney General and lawyer for our state for almost 4 decades. I'm proud to be an American. I'm also proud of my Irish heritage. I'm grateful to have had a rewarding public career. And I'm also very grateful to my fellow Irish for the honor bestowed on me today. Thank you very much.